Hey, let's take it higher. God told me to tell you, child, don't worry, keep it moving. If they walk out and you lose them, you just know that heaven still has your reward. It's your
I'm a
reward.
youth guidance counselor, for CPS and the youth guidance organization. That's one of my day jobs. And I'm creative director at my church. And then I'm also an artist, a poet, an MC. Rock with my own band, however you want it. You want me to give me a mic, I can go like that, or you can just give me a stage and give me an hour to just rock it and worship with you with my band. So I'm my own artist. I'm also a dad, a girl dad. Shout out to Kobe. I'm a girl dad and a husband. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. The heaviest moment was losing my first wife, and it's crazy because a lot of people who see me now, they don't even know that. Well, a lot of people I met after the fact don't even realize I dealt with that because God pulled me through the way He did. But so rewind. Yeah, I was young, young in my 20s or whatever. Married. Uh, Janisha, that's her name. And she got cancer early in our marriage, like 2.5 years in. She got diagnosed with cancer. 2.5 years after that, God claimed her life or God called her home. And so it's that. I'm a couple of these moments because I also lost my best friend within 2 years. So, like, 2 years. And it was so crazy because he was there for her during when she first got diagnosed, which was like a low point for me, but I had to find strength, and he was one of them dudes that helping me find strength. And then midway through her fight, he gets hit by a drunk driver. And a lot of people might know him. He's the late great Philip Reed. He's like my music director. He's like minister of music. My producer. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so he gone just like that. And then a year or so later, they took my not they took his life, but my wife passed away to cancer. So that was probably the lowest point for me. That was the point I like to say I was just on the precipice. Is that the word? Pre- Precipice. I was close to giving up. I was right there. It was like I'm sorry. I use big words. It just pop up. But yeah, I was man. It was that moment, man. Because when you go through something like when you go through something that life changing, you don't know what's next. Of course you question your mortality. So that was probably that point in my life where it's just like I gotta figure out who I am, all of that stuff. And I remember my pastor. I'm not at that church anymore, but Pastor Raymond Chin, he's still my spiritual father. He gave me some real sound advice. Just said, "Yo, Steve, whatever you do, just don't stop doing. Don't do nothing crazy, right? Keep coming to church. Keep praying. Keep relying on God. God is not afraid of your anger. You don't have to try to act like God can't handle it. Yeah, I was angry. Like you look at people on the streets just taking somebody's life and living reckless, and then you look at people like a Philip or like Janisha who was like in the ministry and like literally making a strong impact on society, and they get their life taken like that. But that brother out there just shot 4 people and is looking for the next person, and he'll be here till he's 80. So all those thoughts go through your head, and then of course, when you're dealing with somebody that with cancer, this that healing thing. You believe like God is gonna do this. I ain't worried about it. God, you got this. And they still lose their life. And it's like, what did I do to you? Like I even remember shortly after I was at a healing service. In fact, and this is crazy because I was, doing my thing, an artist. I'm on stage, spitting bars with the team. Hey, I probably even kicked off the healing moment. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of them high nights. But when they started the healing part, I had to step out. I couldn't take it. Because it's like it's stuff ain't it's I don't know. It was a tough moment. It didn't seem fair. It didn't seem fair. But but fast forward, like I said, going back to what my pastor said was like, yo, keep doing what you do. And one thing I learned is that like God gives us gifts, and yeah, we use it for the masses, but you can also use it for yourself. Like He gives it to you for you to use for yourself. So my first album actually came out of that. It's called Eurocliding, and it was really just based on the storm that Paul was in. Um, And God just promised him he'll make it through. It's gonna get ugly, but he'll make it through. And that was kind of my life. But I remember like literally we buried her in St. Louis, and the next day I was in the studio recording like the first track on a project, and I don't know, it was just so much healing. You know, it was just so much healing just taking place in just continuing in the ministry, not forcing it. You know, because you definitely gotta mourn, and you don't want to take that away. So I wasn't like forcing anything, but like letting opportunities happen and praying and is this the right time to do it, and just continuing to do it. And I just began to see God just start to put pieces together. And I remember two things happened. I remember I was at a service. This preacher, Two-Door Bismarck. He was there, and he was doing this thing, and he was prophesying, and I was standing next to my sister, my spiritual sister, another dope praise and worship leader, Nicole Ellington. And I remember he asked like, tell the person you standing next to, tell them what you want God to do. And this is probably like 6 months after Janisha had passed. Tell me something you want God to do like in your life soon. And I remember just looking at her like tearing up, like I just wanted to start a family again. And shortly after, man, met Nikki. You know, a lot of people know Nikki, right. I met Nikki, and we got together, and she was a godsend. And I knew she was the one when she told me, never feel like you have to shut that story out. Like that's who you are. That's made you. So we get together, start dating her. Clearly she was the one. And then years later, I had my daughter, India, and I just remember doing that the moment, the long nights, and getting angry at God nights, and man, I can say a lot. I'm gonna start wrapping it up, but I remember some of the long nights. I remember, two things. I remember thinking. No, I'll say this in a second. The first thing I remember thinking, it was a night I wasn't even dreaming. I just had a vision, because when you lose somebody and you get with somebody again. First of all, it's hard. Like people don't understand that logic, right? I was getting all kind of hate mail, all that stuff. She was too. Whole other conversation. But I remember like it caused me to question, like, man, God, am I ready to move on? And I remember I saw this vision of me just chilling on the couch at the crib, and my late wife walked past, and I was like, all right, here I am. This is the weird. This might come out weird. I'm sorry, but I feel like this is from God. And she walked past and looked at me, and then and I looked at her, and I thought it was like awkward because I'm dating Nikki now. Because it's like in this vision I was still with Nikki, and she walked past, and then she wasn't looking at me. It was the me that was with her came walking past, grabbed her by the arm, and walked off. And I was like, and that was God just telling me like, no, the you that was for her did your part. That was like that moment. And I remember in that moment, I would always wonder, in that season, I would always wonder, like, what would 5 years from now look like? And here I am, wife and a daughter. So I'm blessed, and I remember I wrote through the first album, wrote through the pain. I got another album coming out. It's totally different. I can't wait for it to drop. But that's kind of my story in a nutshell, and that's how I got to where I am now. Still life still presents challenges, but that season right there, like, it made me who I am even today. So.
Hey guys, it's your girl Jenny Christian. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Feel, Heal, and Restore. Don't forget to stay up to date on new episodes. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow us on social media at feel.heal.restore on Instagram and Feel, Heal, Restore all together on Twitter. We'll see you soon.